Hey everyone, welcome back to the Be More Marketing course. I'm Jordan, and in this episode, we're going to be digging into how to pick the right product for your online business. Cool, let's get into it. The funny thing about that question is that it's actually the wrong question, right? The first question that you need to ask is, what market do you sell to? And a market is simply a group of people who share common interests. So you have the fitness market, you have the vegan food market, you have the property market, you have the electronics market, right? And an endless list of others, almost an infinite list of different markets which are out there, right? Which is why when it comes to choosing what you want to build your business around, you need to first understand the market, because it's only in you understanding the market will you be able to understand the needs and the requirements of that market. And in understanding the needs and the requirements, will you then be able to provide effective solutions to solve those issues. And this will be in the forms of your products and services. What you find a lot of the times is that people wake up and they drum up these great ideas, these great business ideas as far as products and services go, and go all the way in building these products, building these services, just to find at the end of it that no one actually wants to buy it, right? And that's not a predicament that anyone would want to be in. And the reason why that approach is the wrong approach, because before you even build your product or service, you need to already know what market you're going to be plugging that product or service into. Which is why, again, when it comes to you deciding what business you want to step into, you need to first identify the market. And then in identifying the market, will you then be able to build upon what products and services you want to sell to that market. Okay, so we got all that out the way. So now the next question is, what market do you choose? So this is very important, but in you making this decision, there's a few things in which you ought to consider. First of which is the size of the market. Is the size of the market that you're stepping into, is it big, is it small? The strength of the competitors. So are the competitors within the market strong? Are the competitors in the market weak? Are there competitors in there who aren't really well known? These are all things that you ought to consider. Next thing is the seasonality. Do customers only buy at certain times in the year? Do they buy all year round? This is the topic of seasonality, and it's definitely something that you strongly want to consider when you're stepping forth into your chosen market, right? Another thing is product variations. Is there a wide variety of products within that market that serves that market, or are the variations limited in nature? What's the price of the product to the customer? Are the products in this market typically high? Are they low? Are they mid-range? These are things in which you want to be considering, especially when you're thinking about profit margins and so forth. Another very important factor is, how easy is it for you to actually reach your target customer? Is it easy? Can you make a simple campaign on the internet to reach them? Or do you need to go through layers upon layers upon layers of hoops before you can actually reach them, right? Another thing that you want to consider is the frequency of the purchase, right? So how many times do your customers actually buy your product and service throughout the course of the year? Is it every month? Is it once every 3 months? Is it once every 6 months? Is it once a year? Is it a few times a week? These are things that you really want to be thinking about, especially when it comes to you forecasting the profit potential in the market that you decide upon entering. Another thing that you want to consider, and is often overlooked, is the human resources required to actually fulfill your product and service to begin with. Is it a thing where you can do it by yourself? Are you going to need to collaborate with other people? Are you going to have to hire people? These are things that you really want to factor in. And lastly is profit margins. With each sale, is the profit margins big? Are they small? Right? This is important because in identifying this, that will determine at what scale you need to actually operate at before you can actually bring back a decent profit to your business. But we go into that in a lot more depth later on in this course. So what would my recommendations be for someone starting out and, deciding upon what market they want to enter into? Well, firstly, I would look for markets where there's only a small number of competitors which have a strong brand presence, right? And the reason for that is that you don't want to go into a market which is full of competitors who already have established brand presence over years upon years upon years, because what's going to end up happening is that new entrants in that market who want to buy, they're just going to go to the obvious choice, and the obvious choice are those who have stood the test of time and are more reliable than someone who is just starting out, at least appears to be. Another thing you ought to consider is the market size. So what's the market cap of the market you're looking to step into? You really want to be stepping into markets which have a market cap higher than $25 million. Reason being is that the bigger the market, the more activity that is in the market, the more demand that is in the market, the more customers that are in the market. And having all of that activity going on will make it very easy for you to set up shop in a market which is very big in nature. And you don't have to worry too much about competitors who have a stronger brand presence than you within that respective field. Another thing you want to consider is you want to really be stepping into markets which has high demand across the entirety of the year. So on the topic of seasonality, you don't want to be in a market where demand is only high in the summer or demand is only high in the winter. You want to be confident that the market you're stepping into has high demand all year round. And because of that, you'll be able to generate profits consistently all year round as well. Another thing you want to consider is stepping into markets where the product and services have a price point above $150. The reason why this is because you want to be having high profit margins across every product and service you sell to your customers. And this is eroded away when you start factoring in business costs, marketing costs. So the more of a buffer you have, nevertheless, those costs impact your overall profit margins. But with everything else, we'll be going into that a lot more fully later. Another thing you want to consider is you want to be able to reach your customers through digital marketing channels. You see, everyone is online these days. Everyone has a phone. Everyone is on Facebook, on internet, on Instagram, right? So chances are is that you be able to find most people, most your target audience via the internet. But if it's a thing where you can't actually access your target consumer through these channels, then I would highly advise you to look for alternative markets to actually step into, because you'll just be making it very, very difficult for yourself to get your sales proposition or your business proposition in front of the people who it most relates to. And finally, the last thing you want to consider is a market that allows for products that has repeat purchases, that has the capacity for repeat purchases, right? And that's very important, because with that, you're able to build upon the consumers in which you've been able to generate from your past. So that way you have both new consumers coming in, but also have the security of old consumers that you previously engaged with, right? And with that, you'll be able to create stronger foundations for your business. Hey there, thanks again for watching. If you have any questions relating to what we've covered in this episode, or if you feel you need further assistance in creating a marketing campaign or developing a marketing and business strategy, then you can either message us on Instagram at BeMoreNetwork, and you can find our tag or our handle at the bottom of the screen, or you can email us on info@bemorenetwork.com, and we'll make sure to respond promptly to any requests. Cool. I look forward to hearing from you. Peace.